Hello, welcome to the Real Hernando, a podcast created to highlight our amazing local community and small businesses here in Hernando, Mississippi. I'm your host, Derek, and this episode is brought to you by Shelby Row Productions. Today, I'm talking with Danny McGreger,
Hi.
owner of Sweet Lorraine's Guitar Shop. A Keystone store on the square, Sweet Lorraine's Guitar Shop sells a wide array of guitars, amps, accessories, and offers one-on-one music lessons. You can find Sweet Lorraine's on the Hernando Square at 2521 Caffey Street. Open Tuesday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Sunday, noon to 4.
That's all correct, Derek.
Danny, thanks for being here, man.
Absolutely. Appreciate you coming to visit.
Absolutely. So, look, before we start talking about Sweet Lorraine's and what this store is and what it offers and how it came to be, let's learn a little more about you. So, from what I gather, you are from Hernando, correct?
That is true. Yeah. Born in 1974 in Memphis, Tennessee. And after just a couple of years, I lived for a while down in the Delta in Clarksdale with the folks. And I don't remember the old stories. I was 3 or 4 years old, moved here into Hernando. So yeah. I've lived here for 40 plus years.
I think that counts as from here.
I am old school OG Hernando.
So what was the school system like here, like different to what it is now?
It was less populated, but it was fantastic. The school system was. I don't know. Never had a problem with it. Yeah. I had found plenty of like-minded friends. Had plenty of fantastic teachers, and I think much of that still holds true. I think my kids are being taught by some good folks. So the school system was it worked for me. Yeah. And I think it seems to be working for my kids. So,
The school system was definitely one of the reasons why I'm here now for my daughter too. So, but obviously you have a music background.
True.
So did that start in school with band?
It totally did. It actually started just immediately before band. I had in elementary school, I guess, a weekly music class. And that music teacher made an impression, made music fun. And then the following year, I suppose, I joined the school band and have been a musician ever since then. Was
the school band as epic as it is now?
Oh, it had its moments. But no, I mean, these days, the Hernando High School Band is off winning, 5-foot tall trophies and doing fantastic things. And we marched around a football field, and we won our share of trophies, but my goodness, now they're doing magical things.
Magical? Man, they have like 100 xylophones out there on the field,
It's impressive. It's impressive. Yep.
So what was your instrument? What did you play?
I played trumpet all the way through middle school, high school, into college. It was that was my first instrument. That was the instrument that paid my way through college. I was a music major at Delta State University, and got a degree in they call it theory and composition. Mm-hmm. It was a Bachelor of Arts degree in music from Delta State University.
Delta State, where's Delta State?
It's in Cleveland, Mississippi, heart of the Mississippi Delta, home of the Grammy Museum now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
What was that experience like, playing trumpet through college?
It was so playing trumpet through college. It was interesting for me because that was about the time I started discovering other instruments and actually became less interested in my primary instrument. Yeah. Because I had played that instrument all the way through school and had become as proficient as one can at that age. That was my primary instrument. That's what, I played in the school, symphony and the school marching band and things like that. However, being a music major, they insist that you take piano classes. And I took a semester of string classes where I had to play violin. Not good at violin. And other. So I became interested in other things. And although I did not take a guitar class, I was a red-blooded American boy. I wanted to play rock and roll music. So I got a guitar one year for Christmas. Buy your kids a guitar for Christmas.
How old were you when you got your first guitar?
I came to it pretty late. I was already in college when I started playing guitar.
Okay, yeah.
So, and what I did, and I tell this to my students, that I never took guitar lessons per se, but what I did is I was in class all day learning about the history and the theory and the composition of music, and then I would take it back to my dorm room at night, and I would apply all that information to guitar.
To the guitar. Yeah. And just building the different kind of chops and the physicality of...
Right. Applying the stuff I learned in piano class, applying the stuff I learned playing viola and stuff like that. And I think it was an interesting approach. I don't know. I mean, I guarantee I'm not the only person that took that approach to learn to play an instrument, but I think it allowed me to view most musical instruments in a different way, including the guitar.
And I would gather that's why they do that, right? Just to make you more
totally
broad and just appreciate a different...
Because what they wanted me to major in, what most of my friends were majoring in back in that day, in college then, was music education. They were turning out band directors. And so I've got friends who are band directors throughout the state, throughout the country. Quite good ones. And but I just music education wasn't for me.
Right.
And yet here I am teaching guitar lessons every day.
Well, I think
I came back to it.
But giving one-on-one lessons is a little different than being a band director.
It is, you know? and I just knew it wasn't. I knew it wasn't for me. I was not going to be able to mentally be in charge of 100 kids marching around on a football field. I am not cut out for that. Hats off to the folks that are. They are brave, talented people. Yeah. And I saw pretty quickly that wasn't for me. But I saw, that music is, by and large, how I wanted to spend my time for the rest of my life. Mm-hmm. So I've made my way to do that somehow.
It's a special kind of person to give, whether it's one-on-one lessons or like the high-level band directors. Because, look, I've been a bass player for 30 years. I've done pretty well with that. And I've tried several times to be a teacher. Not me either, man. Like, it's just not in me to know how to explain to someone what goes on in my head and what I know.
And I'm learning every day. Yeah. I try to learn from my students. And sometimes I'm able to, sometimes I'm not.
So do you still play the trumpet now?
It's on and off, mostly off.
But the thing with the trumpet, though, that was sort of like your meal ticket, right? That's what got you into the school.
Yes. That's what allowed me to get the scholarships necessary to get into school. And so, absolutely, yes. Yeah.
So what was after college like? What was that next phase of your life?
The next phase, odd jobs. I worked at a record store for a while, and spent about a year at a Fred's Dollar Store in Oxford, Mississippi, and I got married to the high school college sweetheart, who's the co-owner of Sweet Lorraine's Guitar Shop on the Square at 2521 Caffey Street.
Nice.
So. Building things like that. Building the family thing while trying to find the right fit job. And
were you playing in any local bands? Were you gigging at all?
So I mean, I'm a singer songwriter. So I've always been in writing songs and playing them for anyone brave enough to listen.
Well, that's interesting. Let's talk about your singing and songwriting. Do you have any discs? Have you recorded anything?
Yeah, I mean, you can probably find things on Facebook and
Are you on YouTube at all?
There's probably a YouTube page. I don't know.
So did you ever perform? Like, would you build a band to do originals?
Yeah. I've been in a rock and roll band called Lately David for years.
Okay.
And we play... I don't know. It's rock and roll music.
Covers?
No. I mean,
all original.
I got no time to learn songs. I'm too busy writing songs.
Well, good for you because that's harder.
I don't know. I don't know about that.
Well, I mean, if you're wanting to work and make $100 a night, you know how that gig world is, being a cover band playing Rolling Stones all night. But to play a set full of originals is a different kind of audience, different kind of venue.
It is. Oh, it's different. Yeah, and so we don't work as much as
Mm-hmm.
as your Mustang Sally bands or your any of your cover bands. But that's okay. You know, whatever. That's
It's well, there's more passion in that being an original band.
I think so. It's just it's what I was meant to do.
Yeah.
Write music.
Well, I read that, at some point you were a copywriter at a place called Signature Advertising. When was that?
That was 2008 to 2012.
So you're a copywriter, meaning writing commercials?
Absolutely, yeah. We had some pretty fantastic clients, including FedEx and the Hilton Hotel brand. So I was way in over my head. I enjoyed writing. I loved writing. I'm a songwriter. I love to write. I love to create using words. But I'd never done it for pay. I'd never done it with a focus on selling.
Marketing.
Right.
Yeah.
And I fell into this job, and this Signature Advertising, this company took a chance on me, and it was great fun. And I had my moments. I had some days that I did something that I was like, I'm kind of proud of that ad for FedEx. I'm kind of proud of that brochure I wrote for Service Master, things like that. But it was stressful as hell because this is a $50,000 advertising account for a global company, and boom, it's on your desk, you're in charge. Why me? No, you've clearly got the wrong person.
I'm the new guy.
Right. But it was great fun to take writing, something that I love to do, and focus it in a business way. And in terms of selling products, services for companies that I had no business trying to market for.
But much like your music history, trumpet, and then they kind of force you to look outside of that. I'm sure that forced you to just tap into a different style of writing that maybe made your skills a little stronger because it forced you to look at it in a different way.
I mean, it all stemmed getting that, or not getting the job, but working in that job of copywriting really came from about 10 years I spent working in radio. And working in small local radio, I discovered that my favorite part of it was not waking up at 4 a.m. and talking about the traffic. My favorite part was actually writing the commercials, having a little fun talking about, the Crazy Eddie who sells boots at Crazy Eddie's boot store. And I love writing those spots. And so when I got canned from radio, which everyone always gets canned from radio.
I have my stories too.
Right?
Yeah.
So
I've been in that business.
I kind of reflected on, what was my favorite part of working in radio? It was writing the commercials. Certainly that qualifies me for a job at an advertising agency writing for FedEx, right? No, of course it doesn't, but I tried anyway and I got it.
I'm sure your resume did. On paper, they at least liked that experience.
So
right?
I got, like I said, I had a couple of folks at a place called Signature Advertising take a flyer on me, and I'm glad they did.
How long were you there for?
I was there for about 4 years.
Okay.
It was great writing commercials for folks that I had no business writing for.
4 years though, it's a long time to crash course lessons every day.
Yeah,
right?
That's exactly what it was.
So I see here also, then you were a project manager at Dream Design Studios. Was that shortly after?
It was immediately
Signature?
after. It was immediately after Signature.
What was that job and position?
I don't know. It was.
This is why I love these conversations.
It was it was a tiny little mom and pop website design firm here in Hernando, and they were just a lovely couple, and they had a business that they really worked hard at, and they needed at the time it was only them. Boy, can I relate about being a one-man show. And they needed a third person about the time I was looking for something new. And it also didn't hurt that their office was a 30-second bike ride from my house.
Definitely beneficial.
So my commute went from 45 minutes along I-240 to 2 minutes along Commerce Street in Hernando. So that played a big role. And so it was fun to be a part of that job because it was such a small, it was owned by husband and wife, and I became the third wheel for a little while, and then it began to expand, and it was fun to watch it grow. And their business began to grow and grow and grow over the course of the time that I was there, and that was fun.
Yeah,
and
you're not handling accounts for FedEx.
I'm not.
It's so other end of the spectrum.
It was great. It in a way, and I hadn't thought about this until this very moment, but in a way, it took the ideas of I'm writing a radio commercial for Crazy Eddie's boot shop, and I'm managing an advertising project for FedEx, but it combined those two things. Now I'm managing an advertising project for still Crazy Eddie's boot shop, but it's it was a little bit more encompassing than just writing a 30-second radio ad. So in a way, I guess I was compiling skills, synthesizing them, and using them. So that was fun in its own way. It was great.
So when does Sweet Lorraine's guitar come in?
About that same time.
So what year are we talking about now?
Oh, so we're 2014 is the first year of Sweet Lorraine's Guitar Shop.
All right, so let's get into
here's how this works, right? I got tired of driving back and forth to Guitar Center, 45 minutes away, when I needed guitar strings. And so
by now we know you enjoy the luxury of a 30-second bike ride.
It's inherent in my very nature. And so I got the wild hair, like I'm going to open a guitar shop. I don't know how to open a guitar shop, but so I started by, I was still working a few hours a day at Dream Design Studios. And then in the weekday afternoons, about 3 o'clock, I would head across the street to my store's original location and teach a few guitar lessons. And on a good day, I would sell a few sets of guitar strings. And I had good luck with that for a while. Good enough luck that when the web design firm decided they'd outgrown their space in here in Hernando, they were going to move their location into downtown Memphis. By that time of having my store open half days for about 6 months, I was ready to kind of give it a try. So when they moved their location to downtown Memphis, I'm like, see ya. I'm done driving to Memphis. I had that adventure driving to East Memphis.
There's no bike lane.
No, not at all. And it's just dangerous.
Yeah.
It's dangerous. I-240 on a bike, you don't want to do that.
No, I wouldn't suggest it either.
So I stayed behind here and expanded my hours, and I was at my store's original location, just a stone's throw from here, kind of a little alleyway there, for about 3 years.
Cool.
Yeah.
So as we mentioned, and as I hope people understand, this isn't a business tutorial kind of how-to.
Right.
But, similar story to other people I've interviewed, when they start a business, they don't know how, they just know what.
Right.
So we're not going to dig into the deals on how to start an LLC, but what was that experience like when you have an idea and then next thing you know, you have a lease? Like what was that bridge all of a sudden to have a brick and mortar?
Oh, it's like there was no bridge. It was jumping off the bridge, and now I'm in the deep end.
Exactly.
I'm in the deep water, and so my wife and I we had a conversation or two with a small business consultant. It was I don't know. They may still do it at the library. Who knows about the COVID protocols and stuff? I don't know. They may not, but that was kind of helpful in a way to put together this business plan. And I don't know if we're actually sticking to the business plan or not. I don't even know what it says.
I'm not either. I mean, it just gets you started.
It does. It forces you more than anything to put in black and white here's what I think could happen. And then none of that happens, but that's okay because it forces you to think about, here's what could happen, here's what else could happen, and not knowing that none of that will actually happen, and you have to make it up as you go along.
So the first location is sort of part-time.
Yeah, and
half
then
days, like 5 days a week.
It was oh my goodness, no, it was 7 days a week because I had to be there on the weekend since I was only there from like 3 to 7 p.m. on the weekdays.
Yeah,
I was there, all day on the weekends teaching and trying my best to sell anything I could.
Would you say the brunt of the revenue coming in or the business that you're having, is it more students than selling?
Yes,
so
absolutely.
Because it's more of a guitar lesson studio, but you sell.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the way it worked for a while. And we had as good a success as we could have hoped for. And we were there for about 3 years in that location. And some people think we are still there. I'll have a customer walk in and, hey, I was knocking on your door down the street, and some angry guy opened the door, and it's somebody's house now. Don't
go there.
Don't go there.
So
I've been here for 4 years.
So
no
what
excuse.
was that address? No,
no, undisclosed location is where the original store was. It is.
So let's talk the transition. How did you move around the corner? Like,
we saw a sign on the door that said "for rent," and through a few sort of beneficial, strokes of luck, we kind of got in here and hoped the added space would help more than the added rent would hurt.
So it's taking that chance.
Oh yeah, totally.
I mean, in order for you to grow, you needed to get bigger,
right?
Grow,
and visibility was huge because in the old location, while still downtown, just off the square in Hernando. It was just off the square, and you kind of had to know where we were, and thankfully a lot of people took the effort to find us. A lot of people are still finding the effort to find us. Stop finding us there. Find us here.
So where are we located again, Danny?
Undisclosed location.
No, right now.
Oh, right now, 2521 Caffey Street, right on the square in Hernando.
All right.
Okay. And the visibility is huge because now since we are here, everybody walking to Windy City for a burger can see us, and whether or not they play guitar, they have an uncle who does.
Plus, you get the farmers market during the summer and the Water Tower Fest, all the
festivals, all the stuff is great. It's fantastic.
So you open up the new store. Obviously, you probably had to get more merchandise.
Yeah.
So how does that work? Again, I'm not trying to bury into the business details, but you're a vendor. Or you work with vendors?
I work with vendors. Yeah, you call them up and you beg, and then you try to prove your self-worth. I am worthy to carry your brand name, and sometimes they believe you, and sometimes they don't. So again, it's about really selling yourself. Honestly, it's the same way I fooled Signature Advertising into thinking that I could write commercials for FedEx. I've been doing that my whole life. I've been fooling people into trusting me my whole life.
The term I like is "fake it till you make it."
Okay, sure, and it rhymes, so that's good.
That's what I do. I'm not a songwriter though. That's all I got.
No, that's good. That's solid.
So I want to talk more about the story behind the store.
Yes.
But just as a way to advertise you again, what are some of the vendors and companies that you are working with and selling?
So a couple of years ago, we were lucky to sign on with Fender, which is a big, it's one of the biggest guitar manufacturers in the world. They have been making guitars, since the 1940s. They know what they're doing. They do it well, and it's it's nice to walk into a guitar store and you see a Fender Stratocaster. It's it lends credibility to a guitar store when someone can walk in and see a name brand like that. And it takes a while, honestly, I assume, for probably many types of small stores to begin working with the larger companies, because there's aspects of just proving yourself You know, are you able to? Are you going to be able to sell enough of my product that you know it's worth doing business with you?
Worth filling your walls.
Yes, absolutely. And then then there's Washburn guitars. I sell Jasmine, a subsidiary of, or used to be a subsidiary of Takamine Guitars. I sell. I've got all your accessories that guitar players know. They're all here.
What kind of amps do you all sell?
So I mean, it's hard to go wrong with Fender amps. And that's Ampeg. I've got Ampeg bass amps. And when I can get them. I mean, the COVID has changed so much about the world.
We'll get to
and
that.
manufacturing.
We're going to get to that.
But
for sure.
yeah, I mean, if I've got, I feel pretty good about life if I've got Fender guitar amps and Ampeg bass amps. Then I've got folks started with what they need, and you know, I am always willing to share the truth about. Oh, if this is the style of music you play, maybe this isn't the type of amp for you. Maybe you ought to head down the street to the other store. They've got, you know, a different type of amplifier that may sound better with your playing style.
Yeah, but you know, Fender and Ampeg, man, can't go wrong. Those are industry standard. I play through an Ampeg.
Okay, there you go.
You know, why not? An SVT, right? And that's what you get.
That's it. It's a specific sound for a specific vibe, and it provides that.
So you move into the new location, you stock it up.
Yeah.
What's that first year like?
It was exciting because with the new location and the expanded set of vendors, it worked out as well as it could. And nobody's getting rich, but we weren't broke, and the lights are still on, so that was a good day, man. So and we're still trying to grow. We just trying to make more. We're trying to make more guitar players in the world than there were here yesterday, which means, I guess, again, I ain't no businessman, which means we're trying to make just a dollar more today than we did yesterday, and then a couple of dollars more than we did last year. Then that's the right direction.
Entrepreneurial. That's what you do.
I guess so.
So everyone has their own story and moments. I certainly have mine as a business owner, again, not knowing what I was doing either. But I think everyone has sort of like a pivotal moment where it's like, okay, this is going to work. Like, I think this is something that, we made the right decision. It's not easy, but yeah, this is going to work. We made the right decision. Did you have that aha moment, whether it was old location, this location? What was that moment, if you had one?
Maybe I had something as close to that moment as possible about, I don't know, I've lost a year with the, but because
right. 2020 kind of didn't exist, right?
But it was probably, late 2019 when I first, in the first time of the store's existence, it came as close as possible to maxing out my available teaching time.
Okay.
And it was at that moment where I kind of ran my schedule and said, my schedule is really full. I may not be able to take many, perhaps any more students per week. And then, because I'm not a businessman, I don't think in terms of numbers first. I think in terms of, how much time does this leave for me? So I thought about that first. I don't have any private time left. I don't have any time to play my own guitar at home. I don't have any time for my kids, any time for, but then the second step is like, oh, I should probably play businessman. I ran the numbers what that means. And like, well, that's a decent enough amount of money there that even if I have a lousy sales week, I can survive, keep my head above water with just my teaching income. And that played a role in that moment. I don't know if that made the moment. I don't know if that created the moment.
Did it give you a little bit of comfort?
There was a little bit of comfort there.
Yeah.
Then COVID hit and I lost all my students. But now I'm back to about that number again.
Yeah.
But so yeah, there is a number of students I need to keep to feel comfortable. And then I can push it a little bit further to where, yeah, I'm a busy guy, but that leads to a level of comfort knowing that I'm going to have bills paid.
Yeah. Well, let's use this time to segue into COVID as you brought it up, because this is something I'm asking everybody.
Yeah.
Not the political side of things, but small businesses got crushed, right? So I'm interested in everyone's story as how they zigged and zagged and made their way through the mess that it was with little information on regulations and rules. What are we supposed to do? How are we going to do this? How am I going to pay my bills? And all this stuff. So what was that like for you?
First and foremost, what happened was I've got some amazing customers. And for a while I've had plenty of customers just come in to buy stuff they didn't need. And that was awesome.
Yeah.
And it helped a lot.
Was there an increase in online?
I don't do a lot of online sales, but we did. We moved almost all of my lessons to Zoom.
Oh, there you go.
Right,
yeah.
and not ideal, but it was great.
It's still there,
and I still, and I still have. I think I'm down to just one student still doing Zoom lessons, and it's a fun adventure.
Yeah.
And it can be. Once I learned how to do it, it can be almost as effective as in-person one-on-one.
But man, what a savior, though.
It was, yes. That was
Zoom was a big hero in the pandemic. I don't know what happened to Skype. I don't know how they missed the mark on that. But Zoom.
It was incredibly helpful. And I was able to maintain a little bit of income that way. And when we were kind of allowed to actually come back open, again with masking and just careful, cleaning of everything every 5 minutes, it worked out as well as it could.
Yeah.
I'm in a business of selling things that actually came in pretty handy during a lockdown. So folks bought a lot of guitars.
They wanted to start a
worldwide.
New hobby. Yeah.
Right. Worldwide, folks bought a lot of guitars. So there were industries that did a lot worse than recreational kind of industries like guitar, where you can just, I'm not going to movies, I'm not doing this, but I can still sit at home and play guitar. So a lot of guitar companies had banner years. So I continued to sell. And so plenty of companies had a worse year. Then there were, grants and loans, and I was able to take advantage. I let other businesses take care of the the loans, the PPP loans. Because I was still keeping at least my nose above water. We didn't do the PPP loan, but we did accept a grant. I forgot the name of the grant, but the state did grants, and that was helpful. And then basically, it really came down to some really dedicated customers who just kept buying a new guitar here. They kept, they would call me up. I need a curbside set of strings, please. And I don't know if they really needed the strings, but God bless them.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it could have been worse. It wasn't great. It was not great.
Yeah.
But it could have been worse. And I'm still here, thankful to some really cool customers.
The two words we hear all the time is supply chain.
Yeah,
right?
sure.
So I know you and I talked about this briefly when we first met to talk about this, but is this the time now where you're feeling the hangover of supply chain and these companies running low on merchandise and product?
Without a doubt, yes. There was an incredibly good year for recreational things like guitars, but it came at a very bad time because they had to send their folks home. You're not going to be manufacturing as many guitars because of the being locked down. You know, the folks who actually build the guitars are stuck at home. So we were selling off worldwide. We were selling off all this stock, and it was not getting replenished as quickly as possible. So then now everybody's building guitars again. Fantastic. But the supply chain, it takes time to get imports from wherever they're coming from. It takes time to even get domestic product from wherever it's being built to stores. So yeah, there is an incredible lag. And I'm just trying to keep as much product as I can. And you mentioned zigging and zagging. I'm doing a lot of zigging and zagging.
Well, anyone that wants to come to, what is it again?
2521 Caffey Street in Hernando.
You're going to see a wall full of stuff, so come on in, you know. So on a personal level, again, as a business owner myself, I know what it's like to take that big chance, take that leap. You gamble on yourself, or you bet on yourself, putting all the chips in,
right?
All the different cliches.
You're a poker player, aren't you?
What has that been for you, like as a person, and your wife as a family, which we should talk about if she's part owner and
Absolutely.
stuff. But what's that been like for your family? Just not so much on like, yeah, we can afford our bills, just on a personal level as far as satisfaction and fulfillment.
Most days, it's incredibly fulfilling to not have a boss, right? I mean, that's the cliche that you don't have to answer to anyone. I got to answer to a lot of people.
Yeah.
My own standards among them, highest among them probably. But it is fulfilling. But I'm here a lot. You know, I'm only closed on Mondays.
Yeah.
Despite those weird customers that you're always closed. How? Do you only come on Mondays? What's your deal? Yeah. Anyway, so aside from that, I'm always here. Yeah. But the family's all in. We're good. It is most days fulfilling, some days frustrating, occasionally frightening.
Right. That's part of it, though.
Right?
High
Absolutely.
risk.
Right? I've never been one for roller coasters, but look what I did.
Is your wife's name Lorraine?
No. She gets that a lot, though.
I just wanted to pitch that in there.
No,
what's your wife's enrollment or involvement in this, in her role?
She's the brains.
Okay.
She's absolutely the brains. She's got no background in business ownership either, but she's better with numbers, so she's...
What's your wife's name?
Stephanie.
All right, Stephanie. If you're watching or listening to this, you heard it here. You are the brains.
She's the brains of the operation. Without a doubt. I mean, because I'm just here to talk to people about guitars.
Yeah.
But she's the one that says, hey, why don't you spend that instead of that? And what does that mean? And then... again, because we just do the best that we can, put it all into QuickBooks, and let our accountant friend sweat the small stuff.
That's exactly what I do, man.
Yeah, right.
So I fell into a situation, or I hit a crossroad in my situation where, in order for me to grow, I had to bring more people on. Like yourself, it was just me handling all the traffic. And this isn't about me and my business, but I think it relates to a lot of entrepreneurs. You start something and it's all you, and you're doing everything. I know you have your wife helping with stuff too, but you're the only one at the store.
Right.
Do you see yourself ever scaling up in a sense where maybe you hire on another instructor to give some lessons, or you have someone running the register? You know, where do you see that going?
Oh, I'm trying desperately to talk my kids into running the register.
There you go.
No, yeah, I mean, hopefully someday. Because there are absolutely times where it gets tough.
Yeah.
That I'm trying to teach a student who could use that extra 2 minutes that I need to run over there and ring up a set of strings, but the student is on the precipice of understanding this concept or skill, and I'm split. So yeah, maybe someday I'll be able to afford a little help, but it's. Paying people what they're worth is tough because, you're going to have to hire someone. I would feel, let me rephrase that. I would feel like I would want to hire someone who knows a little bit about music, a little bit about guitar, enough to have a conversation with someone, because guitar dudes, they like to talk. And basically, I'd feel guilty if I didn't pay an employee enough to endure guitar conversations with guitar dudes who talk incessantly about this and that, and my eyes glaze over sometimes.
Yeah.
And so that's worth at least $20 an hour. No. I just, someday maybe I can afford to pay somebody what they're genuinely worth to come help me out. Until then, I do my best.
Doing your best and hanging in there.
Yeah.
Well, look, man, this has been awesome. Before we leave, let's talk Hernando.
Yeah.
You know what? Well, first off, no, let's back up.
Okay.
Where did you come up with the name for the business?
It's fun to hear people's concept of this, or to hear people's guesses, because people will come in with a knowing look and they'll say Uriah Heep, and that's all they'll say. And for the first couple of years, I don't know what the heck they were talking about. But Uriah Heep, why did you just yell a 70s band at me? And I'd want to kind of retort to them, it's yes, or The Who,
Pretty good, I like them
right?
too.
But I realized, that Uriah Heep, 70s rock band, had a song called Sweet Lorraine.
Okay.
But then so did tons of other people.
So total
so what they were doing,
yeah.
is like, you got your name from Uriah Heep.
Right.
I didn't even know until folks started yelling Uriah Heep at me. At first I thought it was an insult because I forgot about the band name. What are you calling me? But then Cab Calloway had a hit in the 40s called Sweet Lorraine. There's been tons of, no, I made it up.
Really?
It sounded fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that's all it is.
Total coincidence.
It's just a coincidence. I didn't know that Uriah Heep had a song called Sweet Lorraine. I didn't know Cab Calloway had a song called Sweet Lorraine.
I wish I could hear your inner thoughts that first time someone randomly, Uriah
Heep. And it took,
what?
Is that an insult? Oh wait, that is a band. And it was odd. It was strange.
Fairly obscure, let's be honest.
Right,
I mean,
right.
If you're a fan of Uriah Heep, you're more of a deep cut.
Oh, you're into, yeah. I mean,
70s rocker.
Black Betty is your favorite song by Ram Jam. And then you've got, you're into some deep cuts there. Inagata in that era. Yeah,
but like myself, I asked you if it's your wife's name. Or do you have
I get that a lot
your
too.
daughter's name? You must get that a lot.
Of course. Yeah. Nah, it's nothing.
Yeah, but Sweet Lorraine's though does flow. It does have a nice little
rings a bell.
Yeah.
Right.
So Hernando.
Yeah, Hernando.
So
it's home.
You're home. You're a lifelong resident. Your business is here. 2 different locations. You went through the school system, the band program. You've experienced all this stuff in Hernando. But what makes Hernando great for you? Like, what do you really truly love about the spirit of Hernando?
So it's changed a lot lately, and I think that is primarily for the better. But it's there. Despite everything, there's a sense of community down there, deep somewhere.
Yeah.
But it's some days it's harder to find than others, but it's there, and that's it's there's a heart of gold in this town. It really is.
Well, when I compare it to the rest of the county, and we're not here to bash the other cities in the county in any way, but it's the most unique. For me, it's the most old school, right? Wouldn't you agree? Like,
I think so.
Yeah.
I think there's a bit of history that there's a bit of history to Hernando that will always color how it grows and matures. That it's always, it's about the courthouse. It's about the court square. It's about
the water tower.
It's about the and even that is, I don't know even that's kind of a relatively new phenomenon. I mean, right? I mean, growing up, we never thought about there's the water tower. There's this historic monument of Hernando. It was was just the thing that yelled at us every Thursday at noon. But recently, I think through some good marketing from someone a few years ago, the water tower became kind of a thing. But yeah, growing up, it was a water tower.
But yeah, I think that's interesting because I am on the other side. Everything is so unique to me and special because I just moved here this year, but of course I've been coming to Hernando for years, living in Memphis and Olive Branch and Horn Lake. I've been around. But I fall into I love the water tower. It's cool.
Oh no, of course it's cool.
So I get why. But back in your day, it was
a water tower.
It was the water tower.
It was a water tower.
But now it's like an antique.
Right.
It's a huge, tall antique.
No, it's fantastic.
And
I love that
yeah.
there is an iconic symbol for Hernando. That's fantastic. I mean, I come from a marketing background. We need an iconic symbol. Iconic symbols are, you need a logo. But it's an interesting perspective. It's a relatively new logo. Yeah. But yeah, go for it. Hernando, home of the water tower.
Home of the water tower. I love it. Well, again, where is this located?
You'll find Sweet Lorraine's Guitar Shop on the west side of the square at 2521 West Caffey Street. Open Tuesday through Saturday, 10 to 6, Sunday noon to 4.
All right. And where can we find you, Sweet Lorraine's, online? Where's all the different
the best place is,
you
your Facebook and your Instagram and things like that. Just look me up on Facebook.
Just search at Lorraine's Guitar.
Sweet Lorraine's Guitar Shop. I try to post at least 17 times a day during the holidays. At least that's what it feels like. And so, yeah, huge presence there. If anybody's interested, you'll see the new stuff that comes in, the stuff that I have on sale, and just interesting, tidbits.
While we're in advertising mode right here, let's talk about your lessons. What does it take? How does a student sign up with you?
Sure.
What does that look like?
You call the store at 449-2890 or reach out on Facebook or whatever. And it's most of my students take one lesson per week. Now, that is no hard and fast rule, but that just seems to be a good interval between lessons to fit in soccer and schoolwork and rugby. Is that a thing? And I don't know, whatever else extracurricular that they've got to do, and still have time to practice a little bit, to work on the skill we've talked about, to prepare themselves for the next skill, the next song, the next hill to climb. And lessons are $30 per half-hour session. That includes all books, all materials, and everything except the guitar. And if folks have it in their budget to pay for 4 lessons in advance, it's $100. So the price comes down a little bit, and that you're good for 4 lessons.
Look, I've taken lessons, given lessons. That's a nice price. Really good.
I'm just trying to play music and keep the lights on, and try to pass on a little useless knowledge of strumming a guitar.
If you think about it, you make more musicians, it's more guitars needed, right?
That's a very that's a very capitalist view of it, but yes, absolutely.
Single-handedly, controlling the supply and demand.
That's exactly right. I am arming my my military of guitar players. Yes, that's what I'm doing.
Well, thanks for doing this, Danny.
Absolutely.
I appreciate it.
That was fun.
So, to our listeners and viewers, please share this episode. If you think of anyone that that would be interested in learning more about this store and coming to check this store out, please share this episode. We would really appreciate it. You can visit our website, therealhernando.com. There you can find this episode in video, audio, and text formats. You can subscribe for free. So when we publish a new episode, you will get a notification for that. You can also find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google, Stitcher, YouTube. This is also a video podcast. Anywhere you can find podcasts, you'll find us. And also follow us on Instagram and Facebook at The Real Hernando. Danny McGreger, thank you for doing this, man.
Derek, thanks, man.
Sweet Lorraine's Guitar Shop. And where can we find the guitar shop again?
That's located on the west side of the courthouse square, 2521 Caffey Street, Hernando, Mississippi.
There it is, folks. Thank you.